Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pros and Cons. I want to welcome Eric Sainz, a.k.a. Easy E, a.k.a. H-Town, a.k.a. Danny Lover, the one, the only. We want to hear your story in a second. I'm going to go ahead and give a little background on you. Ex-gangbanger, ex-drug dealer, trapper, rapper, drug user.
Not so much a rapper yet, but I got a song in the making.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Died, born again,
Yes, sir.
discipleship leader,
Yes, sir.
teacher, preacher.
Hallelujah.
Love to hear your story. What you got?
Well, yeah, man. Just, I would say jumped off the porch around 14, and when I jumped off the porch, it immediately went like hard. We was started robbing fast food places, like I was telling Harry. From that, we started robbing Mexicans without that didn't speak English. That would work hard, cash their checks, stuff like that. We started robbing them. Then it went to running in houses, laying people down and all that. And then it went to the drugs. Then once you started, started seeing that was a dangerous game, then we started selling drugs, from weed to the coke, and then it went to the pills, and then from the pills went into the meth, which ultimately had me hit my knees and ask God to come into my life.
How did you feel about the times that you were robbing and robbing your own people?
At that time, I had no conscience. Didn't feel nothing, there was no conscience in it, So I didn't really feel nothing. There was only one robbery that I had that haunted me for a little bit, is when I robbed the old lady, and snatched her purse, and when I snatched her purse, she fell down and the straps broke, and my friends were waiting down the street, and I snatched the purse and took out running, and then jumped into the car. In that purse, we threw everything away, but we kept like 3-4 items, which ended up having her PIN number on it, and we ended up pulling everything out of her account. And that was one of the ones that kind of haunted me for a while. Yeah. But other than that, there was really no conscience. There was no conviction at that time.
Speaking of conviction, were you getting cased up, or you just?
No, there was no. The first case happened when I was I was 18 years old. I got caught with there was a drug charge. It wasn't mine at the time. It wasn't mine. It was in the back of a cop car. It was 14 grams of coke. But at that time, I was 18 years old, and I didn't really know nothing about the system, so I signed for probation. And then I ended up, but I was like, Lord, I deserve this because, all the robberies I hit and did. I was like, I'll take this one, you know what I mean? But I ended up signing for probation, which I didn't make it, but a couple months, and I was back in jail on that one.
So you felt like karma?
Yes, yeah. You know how it is when you're young, like the first thing young, I think, just like today, I think a lot of kids, when they first jump off the porch, the first thing they immediately go to is robbing. You know what I mean? Like, because there was no drug, at that time, there was nobody to put a bunch of work into our hands and say, go, we were 13, 14 years old. We didn't really have, no, you know what I mean?
I totally agree. Like, it seems that the first thing you do is just find a way to get the instant gratification, whether it be money or the adrenaline rush or whatever, just to get in. There really ain't even a hustle yet. You don't understand the hustle. You just want to just have what you don't got.
For sure.
So you go from robbing people, kick doors, things like that, and then you get jammed up with the half ounce of powder.
Yeah.
And then you start. When did the drugs come into the place?
Probably the drugs was already there, like when I got in that first charge, but it wasn't like
Like weed and
yeah. You bars, bars here and there.
little Zanny bars.
Yeah. And then when I got out of jail on that one, when I ended up doing 9, I violated my probation, and I ended up doing like 9-10 months boot camp, and then I got let back out on probation. But when I got out, immediately went back to the streets, and then I didn't make it by about another 5-6 months. But at that time, we were popping a lot of bars, we were drinking, and we were smoking a lot of weed. And then with that came was some powder here and there, some cocaine here and there.
And then how did it progress to the meth?
So then from that, I ended up going back to prison. That's when I signed for 2 years, and I did 11 months on that, and then came home, and it was still the same. It was just the meth didn't come into later on years down the line, because I think for me, the streets, like I was in love with the streets, bro. Like it was fun. You know what I mean? Like it was fun, and jail, like jail couldn't change. Every time I went to jail, there was really no tragic stories that made me want to change. Like I didn't go in there and get handled, or it was, it wasn't fun, but it wasn't bad. You know what I mean? I didn't, I guess I hung with the best of,
So you was in you said you got cased up and signed for prison. Did 11 or 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have to ride in a car, or did you?
Well, at that time, no, I stayed solo in that time, because when I went in Houston,
neutral.
Yeah, I went down south, and at this time it was 2004. I was 18 years old. There was no there was Houston at the time, but at that unit I was at, they weren't letting people pick it up, because at that time the farmers were still they were still running it. I didn't, and then when I got out from there, and then I caught another case. I caught a state jail felony. That's when I picked it up.
And when you say farmer, you mean family versus gang.
Yeah, like a Mexican mafia or Texas syndicate, yeah.
Exactly. Versus like a
yes.
tango or something like that.
Yes.
So what happens? So now you do a little bit of time,
mm-hmm.
You jump back out.
Same thing, jump back out, but like the Bible says, 7 more demons come back more worse than the ones that left. So every time Matthew, I think it's Matthew 12:43-46, it says when the spirit finds, the house swept clean, and it tells it, I'm gonna come back with 7 more demons, and they're more worse than the ones that left. So it's like every time I got out and went back, gradually either the drugs got stronger, or the game got thicker, you know what I mean? So I got out and go same thing, running the streets again, hanging with friends, everything, hitting licks here and there, robbing, just
What was the mindset when you were down? Did you feel like, did you turn into a jailhouse Christian?
No, never.
So when you were doing that little bit of time, when you're doing the boot camp, when you were in and out of the prison stand, at that time,
what would hit my mind was like I need to get a job, but other than that, I really, there was no remorse.
You were ready to get back to the street.
I already, I couldn't wait to just go holler at my friends, holler at my boys. You know what I'm saying? Like I get out, and sometimes my family would have food at the table and waiting for me, and I wouldn't even eat it, bro. Like I'll eat it later. I gotta go.
A lot of people don't realize that that we tend to not get the love and the attention that we need at home, so we search for it out in the world, amongst the homeboys, amongst the chicks, and that's how people actually fall into gangs, because you want to belong, you want to be a part of something. And I remember doing time as a jit, and the whole time my mind is thinking of the streets, what my people's doing, what my boys doing. I want to be out there, and as soon as I get to the house, within 5 minutes, I'm already, looking for another case to catch.
That's how I was, just like instant. All I want to do is, hey, bro, I'm home, pick me up, so let's ride, and that's how. So that's how I usually went, bro.
You jump out, now you back.
So now I jump out, and then I hit state jail now, and then state jail, I got down with the homeboys right there, and
how old are you?
State jail. I don't even know, bro. Maybe let's see. This was like maybe 2000. I would say maybe getting towards my late 20s. Maybe early mid 20s, somewhere around there. like maybe 27, 28 years old, somewhere around there. You know what I mean? Maybe a little. It's so long ago. This was like 2008, 2009. So I'm 42 now. I can't really, somewhere around there, that area, like maybe, about anywhere from 25 to 30, somewhere in there.
Okay, so keep going.
And so I hit state jail, whatever, and then I get out, and that's when I started rocking, but
speak on it.
that's when we started, it was when I got out there that I started, meeting a lot of good friends, and then that's when we started. At this time, it was a pill epidemic.
What
that
pills?
Lorcets, bars, somas, and then they had the doctors. I know you're from Florida, so
Roxycontin, Oxycontin.
You could hit these doctors, and you could take
the pill mill.
You could go to
Doctor shopping.
Yeah, you could go to numerous. And at this time, I was running around screaming, cocaine prices, misdemeanor charges, because if I got the pills with my name on it, and I got some dro bagged up, 2 3 ounces of dro, they can only give me misdemeanor for it. The pills, they can't do nothing because it's in my name. You know what I'm saying?
The script.
Oh, bro, and they're like we had like a it was a bunch of us that was doing that, and so the game was good at this time. We were hitting strip clubs every day, after hours, and this went on for maybe a couple years.
So to explain to the people that may not understand, there was a time that Roxycontins and Oxycontins and all these different pills were to a point where you can go see a doctor.
Yeah.
Explain that process.
You could go see a doctor, claim you got some pain, some kind of, and I think you get up to like 3 visits that you don't need any kind of like X-ray or MRI or nothing, and then and even with that being said, you could pay somebody to you could either pay him
sponsor. So you were sponsoring other people, and then you take somebody up there and say, "I'm gonna give you a portion and a little bit of money."
You can give. At this time the going rate was 10 of each pill, 10 Lorcet, 10 Soma, 10 bars, and then that was for the person to go for free. You know what I mean? And then you pay for it, and So at that time the game was real good. You know what I mean? But then and this was maybe 2000. And then what happened in this process, I broke my leg real bad at this time. I was playing ball with some homeboys at a friend's house, and I did a jump shot with the bad shoe, and my ankle just snapped in half. And so that just gave me more of an excuse to go hit these doctors. You know what I mean? So at this time, what happened at this time, I started serving people at my house, my mom's house, because my leg was broke. So I would just have people come by, which gave the law something to look at. You know what I mean?
So you started trapping out the house instead of meet me at the store, running the phone and all that. Yeah. You couldn't really move around, so you got comfortable.
Yeah, I got comfortable.
So now the house got hot.
The house got hot. Leg heals up, but I'm still, a little bit leg heals up. It's still kind of, but I'm still doing my thing. Still.
Are you taking pills?
Yeah.
So you're selling the pills, making money, but you got access to them. Now you got a hurt leg. You actually got a reason to take it. It's taking pain away.
Yep. And so
there's addiction coming in.
Yeah. Yep. At this time, yes, it was. And then that's when I kind of got involved with Adderall at the same time. And I was taking these Adderalls, like, man, these Adderalls keep me going. You know what I mean? And so in the life that I was living, we would strip club after hours, then after hours, and then when we'd be walking out the after hours, I'd be trying to go to hit a doctor because, I got to keep them. I just spend a lot of money and, so.
So what's the Adderall do? Speedball?
Basically, just keep you, but to me, Adderall ain't nothing but meth and pill, a legal substance of meth. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think that those pills, going from weed and coke and doing recreational drugs, led more to a deeper path, a darker path?
Yes, definitely.
Because it was more of a designer drug, so you crush it up, you snort it, you take it, and it don't seem like you're doing nothing. It's just a pill.
Yeah, just a pill with my name on the bottle. So what happened at this time? Everything going good, living, bleeding, whatever, hustling, and one day the feds kicked in my door. They kicked in my mom's house. Why? You know what I'm saying? And I had just came back from a doctor, and it was me and my homeboy, and we had just came back about 11, 12 o'clock, and we got the bottles, but I was always kind of good at keeping my bottles separate, so I could try to separate just in case something happened, because I already had a feeling that they were watching me. And so So when they kicked in my door, it was, they had, it was like if it was a murder case. You know what I mean? Like they had the whole house surrounded. They threw everybody on the ground, terrorized the house, and the only thing they could find was the pills, and then they found the Adderalls, and inside my shoe there was 1 gram of weed in my shoe. That's what they charged me with that day because they didn't even have a charge. But you know what I'm saying? Because I was.
Because everything was actually done in some way by the book.
Yeah,
You had all the drugs you were selling were actually in a pill bottle that was to your name.
My name separated. It just happened to be like October 1st, and the pill. I had 2 separate bottles. A script here, and one script from September, and then the other script was into October 1st. So they couldn't say like, oh, too much in 1 month. You know what I mean? So and then there was what happened. There was I had like 10 Adderall left in a 90 refill bottle, and there was only 10 of them. So that kind of gave them suspicious too. Like what is he doing with these Adderall? But like most people, I'm an addict. You know what I'm saying? I'm an addict, and I had the leg to prove it. And they were like, well, how what happened? Well, my leg broke my leg, and when I was in the hospital, I just hit the button, boom, 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 and get served. So that's how I got addicted. Is what I told them. You know what I mean?
Is there truth to that?
No.
Okay, so that's just a story you fed them.
Yeah, just what I fed them.
But in the background, you hustling, doing your thing.
Yeah,
you just trying to minimize the charges.
Just trying to minimize the charge. Yeah.
Okay.
So what happened? They took me to jail. And then they tried while I was in jail. They put obtaining doctor fraud by school zone. They tried to pick up some charges, But so I ended up bonding out. Nothing changed, Still was trying to get back out there. But at this time, the doctors are starting to get hot, So my name got hot already with the doctors because now the feds were going to these places saying, "What do you do? This guy Eric and these pills, and he's coming here." So some of these doctors wouldn't even take me no more, and so that's kind of where the meth started coming in because now I had to start looking for a new hustle. You know what I'm saying? I had to start looking for a new hustle, and I was on the side of town where people were starting to do the meth, but it was more in the white community at this time. So I was like, man, maybe I'll jump off into this one because, I got to find something new because, the pills, they're already like, the feds were red flagging people, and if you get caught, they were already busting down. The pill game was already coming to an end, not just with me, but in the streets alone too with other,
Yeah, this is actually very important because I feel like this was the beginning of the epidemic that put a lot of people onto the next level of drugs.
Yeah.
So now the pills are off the street where they've already connected doctors, and now you can't go shopping around no more.
Especially for me because the Fed just kicked in my door.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now I got red flags. So like so I had to immediately start looking for something else to hustle. Because
and then you go to meth.
I started dibbling and dabbling with the meth. It wasn't. What happened was I ended up trying it. Bumping and hitting bumps of it. And I was like, man, this is almost like Adderall. One little 20 would keep me up going all night. You know what I mean? And so then I started trying to get experiment like hustling it. And that's when it just like the game changed, bro. Like a lot of me and my boys started pushing it. And free my boy Casper. He was a part of it. Also free my boy LA too. And so we ended up moving to a house, and Casper took it to another level. You know what I mean? That's when he was he was picking up pounds of the stuff. You know what I'm saying? And we were all roommates, and it was we were roommates, had a house, and everybody was, dibbling. At this time though, everybody was hitting it, but like nobody wanted to like say that they were hitting it. You know what I mean? Like people be hiding it from each other. Like, no, I don't smoke it. I just bump it. You know what I mean? But behind closed doors, because what it would really, just like most drugs, it makes you want to chase girls. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so like So, but we were all still ashamed of it, you know what I'm saying? But we were pushing it, and everybody had their own color, you know what I'm saying? But so we had the house, and everything was going good, but it was, but that's when the game came. That's when the game took off to another level, of the meth.
And what does that mean when you say it took off to another level? the money, the
demons,
clientele,
everything
like
that
it brought with it.
The rod, like the plotting on each other. There was no trust. You know what I mean?
So y'all went from a group of homeboys that was tight knit. You could leave.
We still are, but it's just at this time, we were all close, but it just it's just like you know how it is,
yeah. And
these demons are a lot tougher, and everybody's out to try to get some money, and it's just like if we don't know you 10 years or better, you know what I'm saying, you might be a victim, you know what I mean?
Right. So how you selling it? Well, you say you started by using it. You said,
it's just networking it. Next thing you know, you got some clientels, and But me personally, I would only grab me like a little half or like a little zip, because in the next room, my boy Casper got whatever I need. You know what I'm saying? Like bundles, whatever. And so, so I would just, he'd be like, man, why you don't get more and more? But why do I need it when you got it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, but I was always, I would try to but yeah. So we built up clientele, and then we lost the house. The house, just like any thing comes to an end. We lost the house. We all spread it out. That's when I went back home, and that's kind of when I started. Because my family, they were good people. They come from but they would drink on the weekends, barbecue, and sometimes my uncle, rest in peace, my Uncle Junior, he'd be like, nephew, where's the powder at? So like I was the person that always found them something, to keep the party going at the party. And so, when I came back home and they were still partying, and they were like, well, where's the powder? Like, I ain't got that no more. You know what I mean? I don't got that. This is what I got now, and then so that's when my family started experimenting. So, started, and then, mom started doing the dishes with it. And, so I didn't really know that what this drug was doing to people, you know what I'm saying? But, I just, we were just, lost, you know what I mean? And so, Casper ended up going to jail he got like 15 years. And so, it's been so long ago, so I'm trying to give you the best detail I can, you know what I mean? But, that's like the time when I was like the worstest, so as when I went back home, and then the family started experimenting with it, getting on it, that's when, the demons, that's when I was starting to see what this drug was really doing to my family. Like I started, the streets couldn't change me, jail couldn't change me, but when you start seeing your mother and your sister start operating in a way that you never, and, my dad, I love him too, not saying he's innocent, but he was innocent from that. You know what I mean? He didn't like that part, but like my dad was a real big drinker when I was growing up, so that's a whole nother story. I don't want to, but anyway, so there was some things going on. Like my mom started she couldn't control her anger, she would call. I remember one year she called the laws over like 70 something times in 1 year, bro. No arrest. Like because of how the feds kicked in my door, I was always stay on alert now. You know what I mean? I would always stay on alert. Like I would never rest until like I know the drugs are out of my pocket or buried somewhere, or not knowing if my mom's gonna call the laws on us, or something, So yeah, there was just chaos, bro. Like a house, like just chaos every day, bro. Like until where my mom just kept on accusing my dad of cheating. She would show up at every job, just like, you're cheating. But that's what the drug does to people. It makes
paranoia.
It makes people think that it turns love into hate. You know what I mean? And that's when I started hitting my knee. Like, man, started just like, man, I don't know what's, like seeing everybody get locked up, and it's just like, the friends that we used to be close tight, we were not really, we still love each other to this day, but it's just like, we kind of like weren't as close like we used to be, you know what I mean? And so it was.
So by this time you got pretty much the house on the water.
Yeah.
But you also seeing the destruction that it's doing to them, and because you got a spot for them, it's hitting you harder than just when you just in the streets with it.
I remember one day, at this time, my mom had just, she just did that to stab my dad. But it wasn't a big stab. It was just like a little, but it was enough that I said, if I, like something's got to change, bro, because it's gonna, something's gonna happen to where he gonna be asleep or something, or it's just gonna be like one of those, like those. I don't know where you hear the news where the lady just goes crazy and just, kills her husband, runs him over, or something, stabs her husband 100 times, So, my mama just got out of jail. She's on bond, and we just picked her up, and anyway, so long story short, I remember one day my sister, we were in the garage and we're busting down some lines and it was like and we're all sitting down talking and then my sister just walks outside and just like a demon, just sees like just walks over there, just puts her head down and hits it and then just like jumps on the table and puts it like a demon for real, like scared me. It's like what, you know what I mean, like. To where me and my boys are like, did you just see that? So I remember me and my brother Elon, we was like, man, I was like, bro, I remember I didn't know what to, like, I can't, it don't sound that bad from here, but like, when you see, and then, oh man, it was some demonic things going on at that house. Some supernatural demonic things going on that started catching my eye that God would let me see. You know what I mean? And I know I wasn't probably acting right myself but when you don't really see it in yourself too much, but when you know how you're growing up, that your sister's beautiful, your mom is a good lady, and they start acting some type of way. It's like, man, what's going on? But at this time, the demon had a hold on me, the sin had a hold on me to where I wasn't ready to I was like, man, like I didn't have spiritual fight in me. You know what I mean? So I remember like going to a Catholic church and was like, I need to talk to a priest or something, and I couldn't get nobody to talk to me, So I ended up I went to the sanctuary and I grabbed some holy water, and I just like went around the house, spread it, like, you know what I'm saying, and just thinking that might help, But I already know that was just the beginning of God calling me, showing me that, that I was gonna, that He was gonna change me. You know what I mean? But So that was just one incident of numerous things that was happening that was and all my friends would be telling me, man, you got to change, bro, because they're gonna follow you, they're gonna do what you do, and I was like, man, I can't be, I'm not accountable for what they do. They're grown ups, and it just hadn't got that bad yet. It was bad, but it wasn't until like my Uncle Junior passed away that I was really super lost. You know what I'm saying? And then and that one day, I would just pull up to the store, and the guy was like, I was just sitting in my car, like, bro, I was so hurt and broken, like, just, I didn't know what to do, like, family was about to, 40-year marriage between my mom and dad was just about to be thrown away, like, I honestly felt like at this time, like, death was around the corner, not just for me, but for, like, my whole family, you know what I'm saying, and if something would have happened at this time, we would have went straight to hell. Good family, good people, like believers. We thought we were believers. We thought we went to church. You know what I mean? Like, and so that's kind of part of the testimony of like trapped. Free me, but like I was like, man, Lord, something ain't right. You know what I mean? Something ain't like, I don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? And I remember one day when I pulled up to the store, this guy was like, bro, you got a curse on your family. You need to stop doing what you're doing. And I knew this guy for like 10, 15, 20 years, but I only maybe talked to him like a handful of times. We hooped together, and we had mutual respect for each other, and he, at this time he was, I heard about him in the streets, and then he was like kind of like, I don't know if he wasn't Christian or nothing. I think he was doing like maybe Muslim or something, but he was elevated in his religion, whatever he did, and he was like, bro, you gotta, this was the beginning, he was like, bro, you got a curse on your family. And he's like, I'm a messenger from God. And he's like, your Uncle Junior. And I remember he was like, I think it was like, he was like the time, and I forgot what time, but it was like 11:34 or something like that. But if you flip it over, it reads hell. Something like that. It was the perfect time where if you flip like I think it's 11:34. If you flip it backwards, it reads hell. So he's like, we looked at the time, and that's what he's like, bro. You got a curse on you if you need. And then he's like, your Uncle Junior, and he didn't even know, like he was, which it was supernatural, like and he was like, bro, you need to change, bro. You need to change this and that. So that's the first time like something spirit like was like, whoa, this crazy. So, but at the end, this is how I knew something wasn't right, because like he was like, yeah, I got this lady, she'll break the curse, bro, and she don't charge that much, So I was like, but I didn't have no money at the time anyway, so I was like, nah, bro, I'm good. So I went home and I was like, Mom, this guy told me I got a curse. So that was the first day that I was like, I'm about to stop this. I'm about to stop this drug. You know what I mean? Like this drug, and which I think I did for like 2-3 days or whatever. Then I went back for a little bit, and then I just kept having these like there was some things going on that I couldn't explain, like supernatural things. Like I had nobody to witness to me telling me, oh, Christ loves me, or I just from growing up just knew about what Jesus did. Like my grandma, like she was the main spiritual warrior in our family. You know what I mean? But so like there was just some things like, and I remember one day I was like in my Facebook, and I had changed my password from Struggle Life to like to Reborn. And then at the time I was going through my Facebook, and there was like a lot of Christian stuff in there, like on the page. And I was like, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, what's happening? And so yeah, so I ended up finally coming. I remember one day I was like, so I was like, man, I'm done. I started having, just thinking everything was cursed. Like I had 2 pit bulls at this time, and I was like, man, them dogs cursed, bro. Like, got to get them out the house. You know what I'm saying? It's them. Like I was just, I was losing my mind. Like, but I'm coming off the, I was probably like on a 6-year binge of just doing the drug. So I'm like 3-4 days trying to come off of it, and like I'm thinking everything's cursed. I'm thinking, and again, this happened so long ago that and my testimony's so long, because I've surrendered twice, and that the first time I surrendered, I don't really remember. So if I'm not giving you the detail, like I'm sorry for getting, but like I just, long story short, I just remembered that and then at this time I remember I was in my room, and I was like, man, I'm done, this and that, and I remember that my mom would be just yelling at my dad like a devil, like a demon. And then I remember one day I had CD books just full of rap CDs, pornos, you know what I mean, like just a big old book. And I was like, you know what, I'm done with it. I went and threw it away. And as I walked to the living room, my mom would go, hey, mijo, like a spirit, like an angel, but then would turn back to my dad and just, you know what I'm saying? But just be blaming him, like blame, and so I knew I was doing something right. I knew I was doing something right. So then I remember I grabbed my phone and I threw it in the gutter, like in the gutter. And I came back, Mom, oh yeah, and so like and then I went to sleep. The next day I woke up and I just like started apologizing to all my neighbors. Boom, boom, boom. Hey, sorry, man, forgive me. Like because at my house there used to be a lot of people, like just stopping by. My house was like like everybody has, everybody I knew, grew up with, we all sold drugs, everything. Like if I ain't had it, somebody else had it. We all networking off each other. You from the streets, you know how it is. Like it was just like anyway. So I would go to all of my neighbors and I would apologize to them and tell them, man, I'm sorry. I'm having a spiritual awakening. There'll be no more pollution. But at this time, I didn't know what was going on with me. I didn't know the Bible. I didn't read the Bible. I didn't know nothing. I was just moved by something other than myself, moved by a spirit. And it wasn't until I started reading the Bible that I knew this book is real, because he had me repenting. He had me doing all these things. So anyway, man, I remember one day I was laying down in my bed. This is the day that I think that life ain't changed. Like my life, I was laying down with my mom. We didn't have no food in the refrigerator because I said I'm done with the drug, And at this time, like I had built a life just on networking and selling meth. And so, at this time now everybody's using it, everybody's doing it, and it's like,
and you backed off.
Yeah, and I backed off. And it's like, so I didn't have no funds coming in. The bills piling up. My dad, he'd been fired from all his jobs, and so I'm like, so I'm just laying down like, what have I done? It's like all my two pit bulls are so hungry, they're crying for food. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I don't know what to do, bro. And I just heard I just felt the spirit say, get up and go. So I said, Mom, I'll be back. And she's like, where you going? And I said, I got to go to my brother L.A.'s house and tell him to change his dog's name from Lucifer. His dog's name was Lucifer to Zeus. I wanted to change it from Zeus to Jesus. And my brother L.A., man, he's got one of the best hearts. And when he got out of jail, he came over to the house and I was like, hey, bro, this stuff right here will make you chase women and get money, dog. This what we doing. And he started dibbling that, and so I felt so bad that I gave him that stuff, you know what I'm saying, for the first time. And so I was like, I gotta go tell him, about, just changing. And then on this journey, I was walking, and at this time, 2 days before this, I was pacing in my garage. I had real bad anxiety, and so my sister's baby daddy was like, maybe you need to go for a walk, go for a run. So I was like, maybe you're right, because I didn't know no schedule. I haven't been sober. I haven't, my anxiety's to the max, and and remind you that, there's so much other things that was going on at this time. There was robberies that we hit. There was a little bit of everything, like somebody had just came to my house and knocked on my door and gave my dad a note, said I got 2 weeks to pay a certain amount. My dad said the dude was an all white, so there was so many things that was going on at this time that I didn't know, so, but before that I had, I was at, anyway, there was a lot of things, that was also why I was having anxiety, like, like, I don't know what's to expect next, like, so anyway, my brother, my sister's boyfriend was like, maybe you need to go for a walk, so I remember I was walking, and the only thing I could tell people, like, while I was walking, I just started telling people, Jesus loves them. Jesus loves you, man. Jesus loves you. And then I remember going into the house that, that I was staying at for a little bit, and these people were like heroin addicts. They, like they were starting to, I used to serve them meth, but then they started dibbling with the heroin. And when I knocked on the door, they had needles in their arms, like 2 of them did. And I just remember telling one, hey, bro, like, I've been clean 3-4 days, and Jesus loves you. Jesus loves you, bro. And he was like, man, that's awesome. And he gave me a hug. And it was like the first time I really felt a hug that didn't come with no strings. Like, usually you hug somebody, it's like, oh, boy, I love you, boy, you know what I'm saying? And it's, what you got? Like, I don't know. You feel me? Like, it was real. It was real. And off that hug, I got so much energy. And, and there was, this testimony is kind of like, it's scatterbrained, bro, because, like, it was like 8, 9, 10 years ago, or like 2016 when this was going on. You know what I mean? 2016 when this started happening, it was November 2016 going into 17. And
so this is really the beginning of your discipleship.
Beginning of me experiencing like who Jesus. Like at this time, I knew something was happening to me. I didn't know what it was. I'm starting to see pictures on the wall with my mom and my sister, like their old pictures, and I walk by these pictures all day, and but for the first time, like, I'm starting to see how we used to look before the drugs. I'm starting to see how our family was before the meth came in. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, man. Anyway, so now remind you, I've been going to neighbor's house, apologizing, because like the neighbors are the ones who got the feds kicked in. I remember one day me and my boy, they were playing basketball. And across the street there was a cop and the 2 neighbors, and we were hooping. I'm like, he's like, bro, they looking dead at you, and I'm like, so they can't pop. I ain't got, I'm cocaine price misdemeanor charge. I ain't worried about nothing. You know what I'm saying? And so I waved hi to them, and they didn't even wave. So I knew at this time that they were, they were watching. You know what I mean? And so anyway, so I was like, fuck my neighbors. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I was. You know what I'm saying? So so God. You told me like to go apologize, and it was crazy that every one of those neighbors forgave me. Every one. There was one on this. It was neighbor here, neighbor this way, 3 this way, 1 here, and 1 here. They couldn't even come outside because the company I had. Like, we're rough. You know what I'm saying? And so, The kids couldn't even, because we were outside and we smoked weed. Like there was no respect. We didn't care. You know what I'm saying? My thing is like, if I ain't doing nothing to you, really, we're good. You know what I'm saying? Like, you shouldn't be. Like, I'm gonna make sure that we're not gonna, like, we weren't bad people to like touch them or nothing. Like, but we were just hustlers. The drug, selling. So like, but at the same time, I was like not selling that. Well, I wasn't calming the storm down for them, because they, you know what I'm saying? I didn't put other people's feelings in perspective. You know what I'm saying? And so, but at this time when I'm going through this, I don't know what you call it, but while I'm going through this battle, I started having like, man, these neighbors couldn't even come outside, the kids, you know what I'm saying? And so anyway, so long story, back to with Kevin, I ended up getting that hug, and I just took off running again. So I guess this is the first time that, as I started reading the word, I was like, later on, I started, I was like, man, that's when I started becoming an ambassador. Like, God showed me that I was going to start becoming an ambassador. All these, I was moved by a spirit that I didn't know what was going on. A lot of people thought I was on drugs. And rest in peace to my boy Baby E today, man. Like they're doing a balloon throw for him. I love him. He was part of my trap church journey. He was a part, like, he come to my Bible study, but like, me and him were smoking water before this started, and a lot of people thought, Eric just lost his mind, he's tripping. But I knew something was going on, like something was up. I don't know what was coming. I don't know if it was death, but the Proverbs, me and you read, is fear of the Lord is the beginning stage of true knowledge. Fear. So I guess for the first time I started to fear God. Like, wow, I don't know what's going on. I didn't even know God really existed. I just knew he was that I looked in the sky and said, well, there's something up there, but I don't know who. You know what I'm saying? And so anyway, the next day, that's when I'm laying down with my mom, and there's no food, there's no money. And I'm like, I don't know how we're gonna make it. So anyway, I was like, I'm gonna go tell my boy LA to change his dog's name. So on that journey, there was a dude that I seen that I never really, we really didn't like each other too much. We didn't ever say nothing to each other. And he was from Chicago. I didn't even know his name, but I just know I didn't like this dude. You know what I'm saying? And so anyway, as I'm walking up to him, I tap him on the shoulder, and I say he jumps and he puts his hands up. He's like, what, bro? And I'm like, I said, nah, bro, it's not like, I said, I just want to tell you that Jesus loves you, and I've been sober this amount of days. I probably think it was like 4 or 5 days now, maybe 3 or 4 days or something like that. And he's like, how you doing it? And we looked to the left, and there was a big sign right in front of us, bigger, like probably closer than that door is to me and you, like right here by the edge of this table, bro. And the sign is maybe 10 feet big, like 10 feet tall, and it's Jesus like this with his hands.
Wow.
And he starts jumping up and down, and he's like, bro, I walk this street daily, and I've never seen this sign, bro. And I said, and that's when I'm getting good, because like I heard this voice say, don't do it, don't do it, don't do. At this time, it's maybe 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening. You know what I'm saying? And the street is a 4-way this way and a 4-way that way. 4-way one way, 4-way one way, with maybe like an intersection. So, and it's jam-packed traffic. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, and I hear a voice inside me that says, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. I can hear it bold, big, like echoing. Don't do it, don't do it. And I said, I don't care no more. And I just jumped on my knees and I threw my hands up to him. I said, I just want to, you, I don't care no more. I want to be with you. You know what I'm saying? I just want you. And I think, because they say that that's when you confess God as your Lord and Savior, and you don't care what's in return, because you don't know that's when you get the Holy Spirit. Is when you confess, like you make him your Lord and Savior, but you don't care like what you got to go through, what your battle you got to go through, what's the process of your journey. I didn't care what what I'm saying. I didn't have nothing at this time. You know what I mean? And that's the day my life ain't never been the same. So I started walking to my brother's house. I got there, and I didn't know if he was going to be there, but it was perfect timing. Knocked on the door. He opened it, and I said, bro, I just want to tell you I'm sorry. I went on a journey just telling everybody I'm sorry, bro. Because, when I started dibbling and dabbling with the meth, a lot of my brothers were like, you need to stop that. You need to stop that, bro. You better than that. But I didn't care. I didn't care what people, just like now that I'm serving Christ, like a lot of people, like I don't care. I'm going to serve Christ. It's what it is now. So it's like I always knew I was a leader. I always knew God had, but it was the wrong reasons anyway. So I just was on a journey telling people that I felt like maybe I didn't have the big, maybe I wasn't all the way the person that got him, but I know I had a big part up to a lot of people smoking meth or doing meth, however, you know what I'm saying? Like the way it is now. Like it took off into, like at first when I started dibbling, it was only just mainly the white community. You know what I mean? And then when I started dibbling, I started bringing it into a lot of my homeboys, a lot of friends, a lot of, Mexicans, blacks, you know what I mean? And so I do feel like I was, I wasn't just all the way responsible, but I do feel like I had a big part into the, for people just to, like get comfortable with and say, you know what, fuck, we hitting this shit.
And now that you're at the time that you done got clean, you done found the Lord.
I didn't fight. I just knew that I just knew something was out of the ordinary happening to me. So as I came back.
So you're having like a spiritual awakening.
Spiritual awakening, you know what I'm saying? Like spiritual, And so I remember, so I went there, and then I was apologizing to my brother, and he's like, bro, I forgive you, bro. And we hugging, you know what I'm saying? And we both shed a tear too. You know what I'm saying? He's like, bro, don't you, he don't know. He's kind of spooked out. You know what I'm saying? Like, he don't know what's going on with me. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so I was like, hey, bro, you think I could borrow like 40? He was like, bro, I remember I had the Jordan 11s, the Carolina blue, the Carolina ones, the patent leather. They were still clean, almost brand new. And he was like, bro, those shoes are live. But I didn't even care what I had no more. I didn't care. I was like, bro, you can have them. Kicked off him. I was like, you can have them, bro. And I was like, but hey, can you give me a pair of shoes and then just let me borrow $40 so I can feed my family, or let me borrow something or you give me some groceries so I can feed because we didn't have no food. The dogs were hungry. He ended up giving me some money, and then he ended up giving me some money and then gave me some groceries and stuff like that. And I ended up going back to the house, and I was super excited about that. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up go buy pizza for the family. And then that night, I ended up going to a Bible study across the street that a neighbor invited me to, So and then that was part of the, So that's when I started talking to my grandma, and I was like, Grandma, I know that there's more than just church on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Like the battle I'm going through and the battle that the demons I'm fighting, I can't wait all the way till Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Like I need something now. Like what do I do? And that's when she was like, Mihu, you gotta start reading your Bible. Or she gave me a mentor named Ernest. And then Ernest told me he put me on Proverbs chapter 1, and so that's when I got the Bible. And I remember I was just my mom sat down and we started reading it together in the house. You know what I'm saying? House to house, city to city. So we started reading it in the house, and that's when the pages started jumping off on me. You know what I'm saying? So I guess that's why it's real big that we must repent, ask God for forgiveness, because I think that was the first time that the blinds started removing off the eyes. Because there's a lot of people that's spiritual blinded and they don't know, but I guess, so that's when I started, little by little I started getting into reading. I was reading the chapter, and then that's when I went, then from there, I had a brother that I grew up with named Chris Shergy, much love to Shergy, that we grew up like around 16, but he was a good kid still, you know what I'm saying? But it's when I moved from 43rd to a nicer neighborhood. And these were my brothers, and so I remember my grandma. We went with my grandma one time to a convention, or like a Christian convention. Me and him, and about it didn't do nothing to me, but it had an impact on him, to where when we came back, he ended up going on a journey to like Bible college, and he ended up going to this big Bible college name. It's called it's Houston Baptist University. It's almost like a Notre Dame type of college. So I knew it. I said, bro, like I was still kind of learning this Bible. So I ended up knocking on his door like, hey, bro, you got to teach me this word, bro. You got to teach me. And he did it willingly, lovingly too. Opened the door. And next thing you know, me and him just started reading. And then off of that, people started seeing this change in me. And so then I started throwing Bible studies at my house. The same house that was a trap house that everybody used to come to, they started coming to get the word now. But they weren't really coming to the word. They were just coming to see this change that I made. You know what I'm saying? This change. And so, like, sometimes it'd be 4 or 5 people. Sometimes it'd be 15. And I didn't even know the word at this time. So, me and Shergy would be like the person, But I would bring him in. But the crowd was coming, you know what I'm saying? But, so I would do a Bible study every night at 9 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? And that's how ended up linking up, through that. That's how I ended up linking up with Trey 9 and Disciple the Streets. They heard about, I was doing all these things that really what we stand on, like house to house, city to city, nation.
With no direction.
No direction. Just something out of this world that was moving inside me. And people were like, my brothers would come home from prison and they come in and they're like, what's going on? This boy, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? And then I ended up getting back with my ex-girl and so life was good, you know what I'm saying? But for a year straight, I couldn't find a job. For a year. Now we're going to go into what we're talking about, what your show is about, cons to pros. Like, for a year, I couldn't find a job. For a year, like, I put in applications, but I was cheating, just like I did in school. Because when you do with God, there's no more of that. Like, he wants you to, there's no more beating the system. There's no more cheating now. So I would like, can you fill out this application for me and send it off, and she'll fill it out for me, no responses. But for a year, my dad, me, my family, none of us had a job. But I had this one verse that was said, if I take care of the birds, how much more precious to you, or how much more precious than you are to me than a bird? And I was like, Lord, then you will provide. And during that year, we didn't pay one rent. We didn't pay, the neighbor would come across the street, y'all need help with the lights, it was just amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like, then, I ended up getting on like food stamps. Like, there was more food in the fridge, like it was amazing. But at the same time, I'm battling. I'm going through because I got a girl and I I'm trying to get a job. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming from the streets and I'm like, used to having money, used to being able to, depend on people. You know what I'm saying? Like, depend on, because I had drugs so there was never a time that I couldn't get nothing done. I didn't have no knowledge on things, but if I needed a car fix or something needed to be worked on, I could easily, hey bro, I got you, man, just get it done. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you need, I got you. You know what I'm saying? And so,
but at this time, all that's gone now.
All gone. Now it's just completely dependent on him. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, I'm dependent on my girl too. And so for a year, so for a year, I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm reaching out to my grandma. Grandma, I don't know what. But going back to the game never crossed my mind. Never crossed my mind at this time. And at the same time, I think also because the devil's slick. Because now I think I'm also a people pleaser too now. Because I'm seeing the impact I'm having on people. Like, I would go pray for people, my homeboys in the streets, and man, they bust out in tears. Like, man, I can't believe you're doing this. You know what I'm saying? And that would do. And then my homeboy would be like, hey, my boy Sherky, I'll go back and tell him, like, bro, this my nigga was crying. He like, bro, that stop, calm down. That ain't you. That's Jesus. That's God. And I would be like, and he would like bust my bubble, because like sometimes I'd be like, man, this live, like not live, but it's like something's coming out of me that I can't explain, because I still don't really know my relationship with Christ yet.
The Holy Ghost.
Yeah, I don't really know it though. I know something's moving in me, and I'm starting to learn. But at the time, when you start reading, the pages are jumping, but they're still not that clear as they yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, certain verses are hitting me, certain verses are still. I'm just reading, but it's like now I understand why God says, if you finish the book, start over, read it again. You finish, start over, read it, because every time that you read it, it's like you start believing more and more that His promises, and it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like now when I read, I feel like every verse is for me. You know what I'm saying? And it's like they're just learning so much. It's like, okay, He's got me. Now I understand, but at this time I'm still learning I still don't really know truly. I know there's something going on with me that's out of this world. I know that there's something moving inside me, that's not only just people can see it and I feel it, but now I'm my girl, her family, like, they forgave me, like, I'm like, wow, this is something's up, so like now so now I'm just like more on kind of like trying to make people happy too. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, long story short, like, we're not long, but anyway, So for a year straight, I couldn't find a job, bro. Couldn't find a job. I'm applying to nice companies, and I'm thinking, I got God's with me now. Like something's gonna shake. Little did I know, I was gonna have to go through the mud still. You know what I'm saying? So after about a year, my grandpa comes and he's like, I got a number for you. And I get this number and he's like, it's a lady that worked at a Christian radio show. It's 90. It's a Christian radio station, and this lady says, bring him here. It's called Work Faith Connection. It's where you had to pass a drug test to go there, and they sit you down from 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock, and teach you how to make resumes, like for 8 days. Monday through Friday. And then it was almost 2 weeks. I think 14 days. It was 2 weeks. And so we would like learn how, and then at the end of the class, at the end of the session, they once you start doing one resume, then you start, they rough drafts, and they start teaching you like to change it. Instead of putting on an application, incarcerated from this year, that now you putting fulfilled obligation to the state of Texas. Now you're changing your words, because the power of life and death is in the tongue. So now they're teaching you how to, and so. So anyways, I graduate the class, and I felt, first application I put in, I get hired. But the first application, I was trying to go for Home Depot because they were paying like $15 an hour, I think, at that time. So I was like, man, Home Depot would be a pretty good job for me, like I can get in there, AC, and what I'm saying. And this, I remind you, I haven't worked in years, bro. So like I'm kind of nervous because like I got to start. Of course, the Bible says you got to start working. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, maybe I do Home Depot. That looks like a pretty easy job. You know what I'm saying? And so Home Depot doesn't hire me, but I still went out to Lowe's. I get a response. And the same tactics that this class showed me what to use. Like they showed me that they told me when I called them and I said I got a response at Lowe's. They're like, go to the dollar store and get you a thank you card. So I followed it. I went to the got a thank you card, and and when I went to the interview, there was like 3 people at the interview. I ended up at the end of the interview, I gave him the thank you card, and he said that's what sold him. He was like, bro, you know what I'm saying, like that. And to this day, they were like, bro, I don't know how you got the job, because I still had the tattoos. I had, you're not even supposed to have felonies. I got 4 felonies. When you like, you're not supposed to work at Lowe's. But they started me off at $10 an hour. So it was like, I was like, oh man, like, you know what I'm saying? At this time, I'm already 36 years old. I'm trying to figure out like, how am I going to, make a living? I'm trying to get out of my people's house again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to, to make a living with my girl, and so all these things are like, but I'm like, I got to do it. I got to do it. So I get the job making $10 an hour, and I excel in it. Within 3 months, I'm at 13. I'm at 1365. They bump me up, and they're loving on me. Like, and I remember the first time they oh, can you go get the 2x? I'm like, 2x6s, what's that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know. Can you go get a 2x6 treat? I'm like, what's treated? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I had to learn all this stuff, bro. I don't even know what, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so I'm excelling, bro. I'm excelling. And then, things are going good, things are, and then I started hooking up with these people called Disciple the Streets. And at this time, when I started hooking up with Disciple the Streets, I started going to, I'm looking at YouTube, and I'm seeing all these boys are in rap. They're doing all these things. And these people came to my house, knocked on my door, like, we heard about you, because somehow one of the Trey 9 had a lady named Miss Jennifer, who was like a secretary, or she worked for like the Eyes on Me ministry. She was doing something. Her son got out of jail, and he was, instead of like, they always been trying to like bring him to the ministry, but he wanted to come to my house. He's like, Eric does Bible study at 9. So from straight out of jail, he shows up to my house, and this lady's like, who's this dude throwing Bible studies? You know what I'm saying? Like, so she goes back and tells some people, man, this guy, my son wanted to go, and now he's all right there throwing Bible studies for people. And so I ended up linking up with this guy, Lucian. And he gets my story, and it's a long, you've been to some of our disciples, like they teach us to kind of like do your testimony quick, but I give him the long one, like I'm giving kind of, so anyway, so he hears my story and all that. He's like, bro, we think you'd be a good fit to be a part of our Disciple of the Streets, this and that. And so, but at this time I'm on fire, you know what I'm saying? I'm on fire, big church, throwing Bible prayer circles, but I ain't got no structure. I ain't got, you know what I'm saying? There's no. And so when I get to this program, when I get to with these people, they start, okay, it's an 11-week course, and they start teaching me about the 3 circles and all this, and I could just feel something inside me like, now I know that was the enemy, not wanting me to be a part, because now that I've been, I'm like, but that's pure organic. You know what I'm saying? Like that, what these brothers are doing from house to house, city to city, nation to nation, is straight out the Bible. Like that, if you go to Acts, you see, but at this time I don't know. I'm like, man, I don't know if I could do. I don't want to do this. Like I had a vision when I got saved that I was going to be some big pastor on a church. Like at Lakewood. Lakewood Church, and you just, and I knew that I was going to be telling my story. Like I had a vision that when God saved me, I remember I was sitting there talking to my ex, and I was like, man, God's going to use me to tell my story. I'm going to fly around the world. You know what I'm saying? And I used to hear planes and so anyways, I get a part, start doing it, and that's when the battle starts to begin. Like now me and her kind of bumping heads on. She's like, this is a good church, they're house to house, so now, but these people are loving on me. You know what I'm saying? Like so my boy Lucian ends up selling me his a nice little Honda Accord. So I'm starting to climb the charts, like job. Now he sells me a leather Honda Accord LX, nice, fully loaded, for like $800. You know what I'm saying? Like nice, and so now I got a car, but I'm like, man, these people are loving on me. Like they're people, but I kind of want to go to big church, and I'm like, but really, I'm just really want to do whatever she wants to, because I was in love. You know what I'm saying? I liked her, whatever, and so I was the battle, but God is a judge. He wants to be first. You know what I'm saying? He wants to be first. So all these things like are starting to, the enemy's starting to throw a little, but I understand now. I know why. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so now everything's going good. Everything's going great, bro. Like I'm working, starting to save money. I'm at 13. I got me a car. God's moving. My family is now like starting to get better. We're doing Bible studies. We're doing prayer circles. But I'm also going to house church. Sometimes I'm battling with big church with her, because her and her family, she had a busy schedule. I had a busy schedule, and the only time that we really got to spend time with each other was on Sunday, and now we're battling between big church and house church. You know what I'm saying? And so one day I ended up getting my income tax, and so I was still me and her went drinking, and we went to the mall. I bought like 3-4 pairs of Jordans. She bought her some, and I was drinking, and she's coming to drop me off, and I didn't want to go home yet. So I call my boy, and he comes, picks me up, and we go to another bar, and we start drinking. And next thing you know, from there we go to a house. And I haven't really done nothing like this. I haven't really went out, or unless I was with like her and her family, we go. But now I'm hanging with the fellas, because now, because I'm kind of low key, I'm really hurt. Like I wanted to be with her, but she wanted to go home. And so now I'm like, you know what? I'm not going, I'm not going to sweat this. I'm going to just go. So anyway, long story short, they're snorting cocaine at the house, you know what I'm saying? And I'm preaching, I'm talking to their eyes, but what's going on? How you been? Man, God good, this and that. But I keep looking, the more I drink, the more I keep looking at and I was like, you know what, man, let me just hit that one time. Man, it was like 7 more demons came back that instant. You know what I'm saying? From that bump, boom. Next thing you know, I'm at a hotel. I done found me some meth. And now I'm geeked out in the room by myself. I'm so depressed that I fell backwards. I didn't want nobody to see me, but the devil had a hook on me. So I remember I probably bounced around like 3 hotels, just cause I got nervous, and so long story short, I ended up going back home. My girl forgave me, and I ended up, the ministry came, loved on me, and now I went on. I was like, you know what, man. I slipped, I fell, but I'm going to get back on track. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get back on track. This is almost like 2 years of being sober, like 17 months of not doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? 17 months, the first year I wasn't working. Now I've been working like 7-8 months, you know what I'm saying? And so I was like, I ain't going to drink no more. I ain't going to do, but it wasn't for God. It was for people. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, I got this. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna come back even harder. So 6 months I went straight again. Doing everything, but at the same time, I could feel the separation. I could feel like I felt like something wasn't right in our relationship. You know what I'm saying? And so now I'm still kind of like uh, I'm still kind of like, you know, and every day felt like boot camp because I wasn't happy that I wasn't like being able to be me, like not me, but like, you know, God provides a freedom, and I didn't feel that freedom at this time. I didn't feel like the freedom I feel now. Like now I feel a freedom, you know what I'm saying, like a spiritual freedom. But at that time I did it, you know what I'm saying. It was like a because maybe I guess I was doing it for the wrong reasons. It wasn't for God at this time. It was for her, for people that I impressed or whatever whatever it may be. So anyway, so long story. So I ended up taking some exos one day, this and that, and so like you know, it's like and just me and her, we weren't connected. You know what I mean? Wasn't connected. So at this time, I started hanging out with my boys again, my boy Brooklyn and them, and so now, you know, me and her made the split. Like okay, you know, and so I kind of blamed the ministry. You know what I'm saying? I was like, you know what, man, you know. I'm gonna just take a break on this, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna just take a break on this, but I'm still gonna serve Christ, you know what I'm saying? I'm still gonna do me. And so, but quick to go back a little bit, while I was still working at Lowe's, I started dibbling and dabbling again with the meth. I remember it was like an 8 ball, you know. And then I was like, you know what, man, I'm gonna just serve a couple people, you know. So I started networking. People come by the Lowe's, and I'll drop, you know, trying to play that sneaky role again. End up losing my job. The drugs took over, you know what I'm saying? And I remember from that 8 ball to like within a month, I was already at a 9 pack. You know what I'm saying? Like at a 9 pack, like that quick, bro. Like, and I told myself, just an 8 ball. You know what I mean? Like, I'm only going to, you know, it happened that quick, like the devil. And then from that 9 pack, I was like, man, I can't live here at my mom's house no more because I feel the law's already looking again. The devil came back 7 more times. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, you know what? I gotta move out. So I went and got me a hotel, and I'm trapping again. You know, trapping, doing my thing. But the game is even bigger now, because at this time, the game was big. But if I needed anything big, I could always go to my brother. You know what I'm saying? And then middleman it, or you know what I'm saying, keep me a little zip on me. You know what I'm saying? But now he's gone, so now I got the zips now. You know what I'm saying? That quick, from the hotel, I got an apartment. Got an apartment, decked it out, you know what I'm saying? And now the drugs have became my rock again. Because now I got bills. I got all these things going on, you know what I'm saying? And not only that, though, I'm helping my family too, giving them $500 a month to help them pay their rent. Because, you know, I remember when I got saved, I said, God, if you just give me my family my freedom, I'll surrender. You know, he did that, then some. Then and now I'm back to hustling. Now I'm moving 9 packs. You know, middleman and had bricks, whatever, you know, and the plugs got deeper, the plugs got bigger, and the game got a lot thicker now. You know what I mean? And so that went on for maybe about 2 years again. You know, like from that apartment, I got another apartment. Was when I was on Golf Bank, and the game got deeper. And then one day, you know, I was like, you know, and then out of nowhere, I remember this how, you know, I surrendered again. And I remember it was Mother's Day. I think it was like 2020, maybe 2021. I surrendered, and I remember I was driving down the street. And COVID, it was right before COVID hit. So right when COVID hit, I had went all in and got me 6 zips. 6 zips. The borders were shut down. Couldn't nobody get no work. I mean, everybody was looking for it. Couldn't. I found somebody out the woodworks. I had 6 zips. You know, and it turned out to be some fire. You know, like, well, it was not fire, but anyway, it was fire at that time. You know what I mean? So I mean, I was like, I'm about to kill the game. You know, like so anyway, the next day or like 2 days later, you know, I remember serving somebody, and then my partner Flacco was like, why you serve that lady? You know, she just caught a case. And at this time, I'm already paranoid because I'm in Jack Boy City. I'm in the hood. You know what I'm saying? And I'm dealing with paranoia times 10 with the Jack Boys. Even though I never got, you know what I'm saying? But it's just, you never know. Like they, you know, what people see in and out the house, we coming out D-boy fresh, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, damn, these boys, I'm just waiting on these people just to kick in. I know they're gonna kick in any dough. I mean, any minute. And I'm on Golf Bank and Antoine. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the heart. That's where a lot of, you know, people get shot daily right there. You know. So anyway, so I'm dealing with that. I'm dealing with the drug addiction. I'm dealing with, you know, how I'm disobeying God. I'm dealing with, because I couldn't stop talking about God. You know what I'm saying? The whole 2 years that I was selling, I just couldn't stop talking about God. I just knew that, like, I felt so horrible, but, you know, I had bills again, you know what I'm saying? And So anyway, long story short, I ended up driving home, and I was like, man, I'm done. So I didn't leave to work. I didn't want to be at the apartment just in case because I already always had this little paranoia that they gonna kick it in, because I felt like they were still mad at me from when I beat that case long time ago. So anyway, I remember I was driving home, and I called my mom and I said, Mom, I'm done. I'm gonna give you the best Mother's Day present ever. I'm gonna surrender. So then the Lord said, go back home. Go back home. So I turned around. So excuse me. So I turned around instead of going back home. Instead of going there to go, talk to them on her Mother's Day. I said, I just turned around for some reason. I don't know why. Turned around, and as I was driving, and I get to this bridge on I think it's Golf Bank, and right by Island Bonson. So on Golf Bank there's a bridge, and the Lord said, throw your phone, get it, because this verse is, if you want to be a part of His world, you must disconnect from this world. So I said, dang Lord, I ain't got nothing there. I said, all right, we're gonna do. So I rolled down the window, buy you water, everything. Chucked the phone. Boom, the water. My first thing was, stop the car, go get your phone. What you doing, E? You know what I mean? I didn't have a cigarette. I didn't. I just put all my money into the game again. 6 zips. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, you tripping, man. So I stopped the car. I backed it up a little bit, and I jumped out and I looked. And I said, man, that phone's gone. I'll never see that phone again, bro. It's gone, bro. You know what I mean? Like, that phone is gone. It's in the water. It's gone. So I get home. I made 2 calls with that phone. I said, Dad, I'm done. I don't know what kind of message he thought I was, but I told him I was done with the game, but he probably thought I was like, well, go kill myself or something. So he immediately started blowing me up, but the phone is gone. So I get to the house, and I'm sitting down. I'm sitting down in my chair, and I'm like, Lord, what next? And He's like, flush the drugs. I said, oh man, okay. So I grab the work and I go flush it. Boom. Flush each zip by itself. Boom, 1, 2, 3. You know what I'm saying? Flush it. And I'm like, what now? And I'm sitting and I'm like, man, I don't know what to do. And I'm rocking, and I hear a knock at the door. Boom, 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 boom. And it's my dad. And he's like, what's that? And in his hand, he got that phone in his hand. He said a lady on a bike picked up the phone in the projects, picked up the phone. People don't do that with phones. You gotta work your phone. That turns into a burner. We're gonna hear licks on this phone. You know what I mean? And so he said a lady on a bike picked up the phone, waited an hour and a half, 2 hours for him at a store to return that phone to him so he could bring it to me. I said, Dad, that phone's the devil. Get it away from me. He's like, okay, son. You know what I mean? I told him, I'm done, Dad. I'm done. And he's like, okay, we'll see. You know what I mean? And so I remember he left. I laid on the couch, and I was out. Boom. I was out. And the next day I woke up, and I heard birds chirping. And it was like, I said, I made it. You know what I mean? Like I felt I was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? I felt this peace again. I felt this peace. So I said, you know what? For 21 days, I'm not going to worry about how I pay my rent. I'm not going to worry about how I eat, because God, He did it for a year the first time, remember? So I said, now I'm going to, 21 days, I got, man, that was the best 21 days of my life. You know what I mean? Like, people were stopping by, helping me pay my bill. My brother, baby E was, all right, man, rest in peace, bro. But like, he was always there with me, bro. Like, he would come and check on me all the time, like, man, my cousin helped me pay my rent. You know what I mean? Like, people, like, the blessings that were coming out the sky, bro. You know what I'm saying? The blessings were, and then this time, that's when somebody started calling me Trap Church. Well, they were already calling me Trap Church, but it started hitting me. The Trap Church started hitting me, like, and that's when God started saying, I'm gonna give you a purpose now. I'm gonna give you a purpose. So that's when I was on. That's when I remember I called Trey 9, and I was like, Trey 9, I surrendered again. And like those 21 days were just like amazing, bro. I can't explain it. It was amazing, but there's a loop. So, like 2 weeks into that journey, I started smoking water again. You know what I'm saying? Like 2 weeks, but I was like, it ain't meth though. It ain't meth. But I was smoking. Then that's I kind of got rehooked again on the water. So, but I was hiding it from people. You know what I'm saying? I was hiding it. So I went to Trey 9, and Trey 9, I went to talk to him about this Trap Church, and he was like, bro, I love it, bro. Like, let's do it. Let's launch it. This and that. And I remember I told him about the shirts and the free me, and he was like, and he was so amped up and pumped about it, but then he called me one day to try to get some info on the shirts or how we should do it, and I was so watered up that I couldn't even talk to him. Now I'm saying I was like, I was stuttering, and he knew automatically that something wasn't right with me. He's like, let's take a break on this, you know what I'm saying? But on that journey, you know, like, so on that journey, the road to redemption, you know, like so I battled for Waterwood a little bit, you know, for maybe a year or so, you know. Then I've been sober off that for maybe 2 years now, you know what I mean? Like 2 years, and all in all, 2 years from the meth, 2 years from the water, you know what I mean? And so, but like this trap church and this free me, it gave me purpose, and then so like so I would, but I wouldn't never stop talking about God. I would always read my word. I would stay in my Bible. So then one day I caught myself still battling a lot of times, still battling with drugs, or still because I kept on hanging out with the same people, because I'll get bored. So I'll be on fire for God, and then I get bored, and I'll be like, so I reached out to Trey 9, and this time I was still getting money from the COVID checks. So like so I had money, like I was getting checks and all that, so like, but like when I get bored, I reach out to my old homeboy, like, what's up, boy? You know what I'm saying? And next thing you know, we dibbling and dabbling again. So I reached out to Trey, and I was like, Trey, I need brotherhood, because like if I'm the leader for my brothers, and I'm not strong enough yet, and they looking up to me to try to like to pull us out the streets, you know what I'm saying? But every time I keep hanging, like I was like, bro, I need to get part of the ministry again. And he's like, you got to take the classes over again. I was like, I'm down, whatever I got to do. But at this time, I felt like he didn't really, he accepted me. He didn't judge me, but he knew I wasn't fully surrendered yet, but he still let me be a part of it, because at this time, I already had, I was still doing little miscellaneous things. Like I had went back to a doctor and found me a doctor that would still like give me Adderall, like, just try to make, I was still like, I surrendered from the meth. And I was like, I never do, but like I was still holding on to other things but my battle was like, I don't want to touch that, because I know that's the devil, so long story short, so I got part of the ministry. I did my classes. No matter what, I would be at those. I just remember hearing, seek His kingdom first, and everything will be added on to you. Seek His kingdom first. So no matter what, I would be a part of this ministry, and through this ministry, that's when I got a part of Solar. That's when I got the job through my brother Art. And he was like, man, get you a job at Solar, this and that. And that's when I started traveling. And that's when I started, still, being a part of the ministry. But I kind of dipped off a little bit and started. That's when I, kind of distant. I was like, Lord said, cut your phone off, and just serve me, So, but I knew the battle now, like I knew the battle that I got to stay busy, because if I get bored, I tend to want to, like like I told on the testimony, like an idle mind will go back to what is comfortable, what it knows. So that's when I was doing Solar, and everything good, and I was helping my family a lot. That's when I went home, and I was like on a 2-month break, and that's when I got the call to come out here to help to do Granted job, and I came out here. That's when Trey 9 linked me up with L1A Ministries, and it just been, here I am now.
Wow, that was a hell of a story.
And that's not even like, there's like so much other stuff I could, but it's like I'm trying to like,
Yeah, no, you did a great job, and I appreciate you sharing your story.
I'm trying to like put it out to, but there's like way more stuff, that I'm leaving out, like not, which is because of time, and but like it's been a long journey, bro. It's been a long journey, but in all, like when you see God's kingdom, and He's just a graceful, He's so good, He's graceful. Now that and now I'm like, I'm not super strong in my word, but I'm super strong. Like I read my Bible, like at least I do. I don't miss church. You already know how I am with the ministry, but I also spend time with Him alone in my word with Him. I've already read the New Testament twice by myself, on top of what I do with other brothers that we like me and you reading Proverbs right now. I've done this with numerous co-workers. Shout out to my boy Vic in the Solar field. Like I've done this to a lot of co-workers. But I still read my Bible on my own with Him. So I've already read, just by myself, I've already read the New Testament twice, from the way I did it the first time, from Proverbs to Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, all the way down. Now, after I've done that twice, now I'm on the Old Testament now. So I just hit Leviticus, I think. I just read chapter 1 today. You know what I mean? So it's just a beautiful journey, man. As you get closer to Christ, and He just, you know, now I'm making disciples. I'm doing disciple training classes. I'm teaching. You know what I mean? Like God has really grown me. You know what I mean? And it's just been an amazing journey.
Yeah. Eric, we appreciate it, and thank you for flipping your hustle.
Yeah, for sure. God is good, man.
Yes, sir. We love you,
Yeah,
bro.
man.